I thought for years that this movie's title was pronounced Asoka, even though in the film the character's name is pronounced Ashok repeatedly. In 2001, Shah Rukh Khan was attempting to make a comeback as an actor after a run of underperforming movies in the years before, and took on the role of Ashok, and I think gave a great performance here. This movie didn't do that well at the box office, unfortunately, but is well received, and is well received widely, and does have a real fan base. The producer and director of the film had a lot of passion in its creation, as did all the actors, and that passion and dedication to making this movie really shines. Even if the box office performance did not at the time, it's just something that happens to movies sometimes, I guess. So the story is an Indian epic historical musical drama, and this film is a musical. The songs are amazing. Even if you don't speak Hindi, they are gorgeous to listen to. It's a fictionalized, though it doesn't screw with the historical events that much, dramatization of the early life Mauryan emperor known as Ashok, remembered by history as Ashok the Great. To my knowledge, and I've looked, this movie is not available in English at all, just in Hindi, but if you like the movie and watch it a few times, you'll eventually get so used to the subtitles that you barely even have to read them anymore. It's kind of like watching subbed anime. Eventually you become very used to it, even though not many Western viewers can translate word for word, but watch it enough times and you'll adapt. I love this movie. I've heard that it's been criticized for supposedly having a derogatory portrayal of Emperor Ashok. I distinctly remember reading that somewhere once, though the reviewer article saying that that was a criticism in existence did not go into details. And I have no idea what they're referring to. Ashok is a sympathetic and very understandable character throughout the entire movie. I can see people pointing out that it's not a completely accurate version of how historical events in the life of Ashok played out, but you're going to get that with any and every story based on historical events. And considering how much other stories have been modified, this is not that bad in that area. While the exact unfolding of Ashok's life may have played out a little differently, the overall plot in many ways did happen. Ashok starts out as a bloodthirsty conqueror. There's a little bit of a royal family drama in the beginning. He did start out as a bloodthirsty conqueror in history who annexed the territory of Kalinga, today called Odisha, through, warfare and slaughter. The legend goes that he one day after the Kalinga War walked through the battlefield, seeing nothing but burnt houses, blood, broken corpses, and cried out, "What have I done?" He then dedicated his life to spreading the teachings of Buddhism. There's some uncertainty as to whether he actually converted to Buddhism or simply became a patron of the religion, but he did become one of the most altruistic and beloved rulers of all time. And there's that story, a lot of part, is true. Whether or not the specifics of the tale are accurate, he did have a major change of heart at some point. There has been a point made that this film has it appear that Kaurwaki was most influential in Asok's conversion to Buddhism, when actually it was another of his wives in history. Devi, who is in this film, was a much greater influence. But this film more portrays just the horrors of war. That what have I done realization at the end that does it. We don't really see much else influence that transition. because it doesn't happen until the very end of the film. The story is mostly about a fictionalized meeting and relationship with Kaurwaki. It's actually pretty funny because at some points he's head over heels for Kaurwaki once they meet. In history, Kaurwaki was just a fisherwoman who became one of Asoka's wives. In this film, she's a princess of Kalinga, with traveling with her little brother. In the beginning, actually, both she and Asoka are essentially fleeing from family or at least political conflict. And another funny thing is that they don't know. Asoka is using a peasant alias at the time, and that whole part of the movie is just hilarious. So they meet Asoka sometime. Well, Pawan, he's calling himself. Sometimes head over heels for Kaurwaki. Other times he's playfully ignoring her, even when she's trying to woo him. It's hilarious. And there comes a point when he believes she has been killed, and you feel how heartbroken he is. I don't want to spoil any more of the story. If you can handle watching films where, if you don't speak the language, in this case Hindi, but can go on just the subtitles, this is a high recommendation. My siblings and I loved this movie growing up.